Hey, my name is Chris. I live in Las Vegas and I'm an occultist and magical practitioner. And I wanted to start a new series in which I talk about magical practices that are practiced today that were originally created by con artists. Now, you would be surprised how many people in the magical community are total scam artists who are total charlatans who use their knowledge of the occult to control people, and they use the knowledge of the occult and the superstitions of individuals in order to take advantage of them. Now, this guy is the first in my list of magical practices that were started by con artistry. Now, this guy is named Edward Kelly. He was the assistant and partner of John Dee. John Dee was the court magician and astrologer for the Queen of England of his time. Now, it's funny how these two got to practice magic for a queen, especially since they made a whole bunch of big promises that they never cashed in on. And especially during a time where magic and witchcraft was outlawed and there were people who were being burned to death in Europe for being witches. So, long story short, Edward Kelly, renowned con artist of his time, partners up with the astrologer of the Queen of England, and he makes up a whole new magical process that was never invented before out of inspiration, right? So basically, scrying was this whole system in which you would stare into a pool of water or a crystal ball, and you would go off into a trance and you would see things, and magical, mystical wisdom would be passed on to you in these meditations, right? Well, he claimed that he could use that system to talk to angels, and he created a whole magical system to talk to angels. Now, this system is called Enockian magic. Now, keep in mind, the big promises of his Enockian magic is that they would have contact with his holy guardian angel, and that holy guardian angel would tell him and John Dee how to convert base metals into gold. Now, they never found the alchemical stone. They never figured out how to turn lead into gold. But they did happen to con a whole bunch of money out of Monarch. So there you go. How magical is that? And the funny thing with this guy, not only did he con the queen, but he conned John Dee as well, because supposedly he had convinced John Dee to wife swap with him. And back in the day, you have to understand, in those times, you didn't do things like that. There were no swingers, there were no swingers bars. You just didn't do that sort of thing in proper, society. But he supposedly tricked John Dee to sleep with John Dee's wife, stole artifacts and books, and then peaced out. So basically, he promised John Dee and the Queen the world, stole books and artifacts, never delivered on those things, and now Enockian magic, magical ritual to talk to your holy guardian angel, still exists nowadays. Now, this is only number one in this series. There's a whole bunch more. Don't get me started on the 20th century and 21st century. But again, a new series on how magical systems were created by con artists. And he's Enockian magic.